This is SABC News coming to you live from the Results Operations Centre here in Pretoria as we kick off our almost back-to-back coverage thus far of the 2016 local government elections. Now, it's not often that issues of freeness and fairness are raised around South African polling, but there have been some issues affecting trust, possibly in the Independent Electoral Commission ahead of these polls to discuss, and election issues in general. I'm joined by Dennis Kadima, Executive Director of the Electoral Institute of Sustainable Democracy in South Africa. Great to have you with us, Dennis. So I want to start with that because we saw by-elections in Clockwe, a court case around that. These very elections were in danger at some point because of issues around the voters' roll. Now, what does that mean for the IEC and the attitude of parties and South Africans towards the IEC?
Yeah, what it means simply is it's a provision of the law that maybe was not implemented at that time, probably because of the nature of some of these settlements. But I think the beauty in all of that is that now there is an instruction for the IEC to correct that. So I think that is a positive development, especially in the context of local government elections. It's important that people, the address where people stay is clearly established to avoid a situation where people can move from one area to another.
Does this raise any issues then around freeness, fairness? The EFF has been saying, you know, we'll raise the alarm. Maybe that's just talk. Is there any concern here?
Look, in fact, they must be concerned, because if any loophole in the process must be a reason for concern. But that's what I'm saying. Now it is being repaired. That's very important.
You think that it's been dealt with adequately?
I think so, because otherwise they would have postponed the election until you have the address. But during the election, I know that during this process, the Electoral Commission will be taking addresses, and they've been given a deadline up to June 2018, I think. I think, you know, in any process, there are times when you learn new things. Like in this case, I think the country has learned the lessons, and I hope it will be addressed, and in the future it will be fine.
Local government elections can be quite boring compared to national elections, but this time the stakes are high. We're looking at major metros that could change hands. Yes. What is your organization expecting in terms of turnout?
No, first of all, I must say that we have a mission here observing this election, because, as you say, it's a very important election where the level of competition is very high, and the stakes are very, very high. You know, more and more people understand that local government is where, you know, that the level that makes a difference in their life. So for us, it's just that's why exceptionally we are observing local government elections. Normally we don't. So I think it's indeed, as you say, a very competitive process, and we are all curious to see how the process will unfold, and of course down the line the outcome, and more importantly, if people will be happy and if they will accept that outcome.
That is interesting. So you're making an exception for these local government elections?
Absolutely. Normally we observe national elections and provincial elections, but local is a bit too close to the people. It's preferable that citizens observe their own elections. But we felt that there may be some lessons. That's why we have deployed a mission in a number of provinces. Does
it mean that you're worried?
It just means we are more interested than in the past.
Okay. Yeah. Is it a blow to democracy? That's what you focus on, that a lot of policy issues, a lot of local government issues haven't actually been dealt with by the politicians. It's been quite personal, inter-party attacks. Should we be sad about that?
No, I think it just shows that people are becoming more aware of the importance of this level of government. Actually, it's a blessing in South Africa that national and provincial elections are separated from local government elections. In countries where they take place at the same time, you'll see that local issues are completely neglected. So I think it's a good thing. That's why now we can hear the voice of people at the grassroots level, at the municipal level, raising their issues and trying to hold their leaders accountable. So I think it's a good thing.
What would you hope for in finality from these elections? Do you think some changing of hands would be good, some more competition would be good, or do you believe that a strong ANC brings stability?
That's a very difficult question. No, as far as I'm concerned, I think if we have more democracy, that would be the most important thing. Because if people, for instance, don't participate, that would be a main reason for concern. But who wins, I would not be able to predict what will be the best outcome, whether it's a more representative government or if it's one strong party. I think that we will just have to accept what the voters will want.
All right, a very diplomatic Dennis Kadima, thank you very much. Joining us from the Electoral Institute of Sustainable Democracy in Southern Africa. Let's go back to Auckland Park's time.